Alright, welcome back to the 8th episode of the Josef tutorial. And today I'm starting in the main menu because I want to show off this very nice warning that I got. Turns out if you have 250 save files and around 5 gigabytes of saves, Steam wants you to delete some of them, unfortunately. So I'm gonna probably have to move some of those into backup, or maybe go through all my Josef backup saves and just delete a few of them. Because it turns out self-expanding factories reach a file size limit of like 100 megabytes fairly quickly. So yeah, that's just something, just a little show-off thing. Okay, but I think the first thing I want to do is go into the latest run of the self-expanding factory, which I had running on my server just for, it's been almost, I think, like 10 days or something, or even more, I'm not sure. And it's slowed down to an absolute crawl, and you can see it's taking quite some time to load. But I think it went really well. It got stuck twice. Once because it built a production cell without belts. And I've seen this happen for a few people. I'm not sure how this is happening exactly. There's got to be something where the train or the blueprint deployer in the cell cycles back to the belt deconstruction planner, and I haven't observed this, and it seems to be really rare. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do about it, to be honest. I could probably sit in front of my computer for 100 hours and wait for it to happen and then analyze why it's happening, but other than that, I can't really, it's hard to tell. Okay, but, and there was one other time it failed where just some very improbable, stupid gridlock happened. So the long train was standing somewhere, 1 second. Haha, this time I remembered to turn on the mouse again. I had the long train sitting somewhere like here, and then one small train sitting here, and they were blocking each other, which was very annoying and I think highly improbable, considering I have 1,500 trains and it only happened once. I was actually afraid this might happen because the train is pretty long for the type of train grid that I have, but yeah, it's improbable enough, I think. So those were the two times where it failed. Other than that, as I said, it went pretty great. I'm gonna turn it back on. It's down to, I think, like 10 UPS. So yeah, letting this run at least locally doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. I'm not sure. I think the performance is quite a bit better when I'm running it headlessly on the server. Should be. So I might just leave it running for a little bit longer there until I'm ready for the next version to drop, if you want. But yeah, doesn't really make sense to run here. And I think I'll pause it to go through it because everything's gonna be so slow in this state. But you can see, I don't have to show a lot, I guess. It looks like the usual Josef cells, lots of them, way too many water cells, of course, but I don't really mind, to be honest. This came up on the Discord as well. This annoys me. Like, I have strong feelings about this because, especially in the beginning, resources are very scarce and water is very abundant. So I might go through the effort and change the cell analysis algorithm again to check for ores first, and then like prioritize ores from water. But yeah, that would be a lot of work. But this is just so annoying. There's lots of copper and iron to be found here, and it just decided to build another water cell. The easy way out would be to increase the number of pumps that have to be placed before it determines that it wants to be a water cell. Like, just make it, I don't know, 150 instead of 100, or instead of 70, I think it is right now. Wait, how many is this? That's like 380. So I guess if I made the limit like 200, it wouldn't consider this a water pumping cell. Well, how many is this? Yeah, that's just 87. That's like borderline worth it. Okay, maybe some stats. One thing I forgot, and I forgot to mention this when I released the blueprint as well. When you go into cheat mode, it turns on the always day mode, which is really annoying. I didn't really want this, but I forgot to disable it in this run, and I think actually in my current new run I forgot to disable it as well. But yeah, you want to enter another command to turn the day-night cycle back on again if you want some like realistic power usage. This is a bit annoying because I don't really know how well this would have worked with nights kicking in. I don't think it would make a big difference, but yeah, I'll definitely try and turn this back on for the next run that I'm making. Yeah, you can see it's been running for something like 150 hours and still increasing nicely, the power usage. There's been a few drops. I think these two were when it got stuck. I'm gonna look at the production tab. I think this is gonna show it a bit better. Maybe the science tab should show it nicely. Yeah, there's these two dips is where it got stuck because, as I said, once the construction train got stuck in a cell because there were no belts to recycle the bots in there, and the other time it got deadlocked. But other than that, it's been increasing quite nicely, and you can see it's around 700 science per minute, which actually makes perfect sense, because if you look at the symbol 3 here, which is the number of, or like the green, and on the green signal, the symbol 3 is the number of production cells, and there's like 140 production cells, and each of them is supposed to make 5 science per minute, so this actually checks out perfectly. Yeah, and it's launched, I think, 2,800 rockets, something like that. Yeah, so it's made 2.8 million white science, which amounts to 2,800 rockets being launched. So yeah, I'd consider that a pretty big success, I think. And yeah, as I said, I might just leave this running for a few more days on my server, as long as I don't have anything else to run. But I don't think it's going to get much further, because it's going to be slower and slower and slower. And like, if it's down to 1 UPS, I don't think there's much. There's not much of a point to leave it running, I think. Okay, I think this is as much as I wanted to show from this run, and the next big thing is going to be BITERS, and I've already started playing around with this, and I'm just gonna switch maps real quick and show how far I got. Alright, this is a new test map. You can see it's got all these weird red spots here. Not sure what those are. And yeah, I've gotten rid of, so I had 2 of these spiral building monsters here. This is the original one that's still here, and there was one here with the landfill cell running 1 cell ahead, and I got rid of this and replaced it by another ring building mechanism, because the plan is to build, well, actually the first stage is already done. The plan is to build one of these defense rings and then fill it up with cells in the old spiral, or the new spiral fashion, then building the next defense ring around here, and well, deconstructing the old one and then filling the new ring with cells. This is the general plan. And I've made a few changes here that I haven't yet incorporated. So just do this real quick, and this. Okay, because I was initially planning to leave the, like, do not build these turrets across water, but it turns out that that's going to lead to a lot of weak spots here, like at the coastlines. This defense has a lot of holes, as you may see, and this does become a problem at some point. I think I'll go into one of my failed runs in a bit and show how this went wrong, or I have a little time lapse of it. But yeah, it's a bit weird. It's a bit hard to to catch these events properly, because I have to record a long time, and then it's too sped up to see properly. But I'm gonna show a bit of footage, I think, in a bit. But maybe first of all about the general expansion mechanism. So as I said, this is basically one of those ring building things that I built in the very first tutorial episode, and I won't go through this in a lot of detail. I think this is, as I said, it's basically the same principle as I described in great detail in the first episode. The only difference is that the way I'm assigning, so okay, maybe just quickly to reiterate, I have two variables. One is flipping. Say I want to build the first ring. One of them is flipping between -1 and 1, and the other one is running from -1 to 0 to 1 to -1 and so on. So cycling in this fashion. And then I'm assigning one of these variables to x and one of these variables to y. And the way I'm assigning, or the which variable is assigned to x and which one is to y, has to be changed every now and then to ensure that like all the combinations are hit basically. And before I did this in a having a belt like this with a wire running, and like if the wire was on the left side, I assigned A to X and B to Y, and when the wire was on the right side, I assigned them the other way around. But this is kind of a bad solution if I'm being honest. And I know now I used some not too complicated math, I think, and I'll try and explain this in a not too convoluted way. So the flipping variable always has two steps. So it has, for example, -1 and 1, or -2 and 2, or something like that. And the one on the bottom has always an uneven number of steps. In the first ring it has 3 steps, and the second ring it has 5 steps, and so on, because it's going to go -1, 0, 1. Next ring it's going to go -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and so on. So this is always going to have an uneven number of steps. And if I add 2 to this uneven number of steps, so say for example if I go from 3 to 5 or from 5 to 7, the resulting number will neither be divisible by 2, because it's always uneven, nor will it be divisible by this number here. So like I'm gonna be sure to have a number that doesn't divide by 2 and that doesn't divide by the number of cells that this is running through. So if I use this number as this is very convoluted, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm getting a 5 for this number in the first run. So the idea is to assign A to X and B to Y for 5 ticks, and then turn it around for another 5 ticks. And this way I'm gonna run through all the combinations without repeating I will repeat myself of course, but only after getting through all the combinations. If you didn't get that, don't worry. This wasn't really one of the important parts. It's just something I figured out how to do a bit more easily, and And then what I'm doing here is basically this is a very weird way of doing this, and I'm really thinking about just tearing all of this down and building it again, because it's so messy. I mean, it works, but it's really hard to make some organized changes and like do things differently, because the whole thing is very convoluted. But the way I'm doing this now is I have this ring mechanism, and then basically I'm checking whether I'm checking if the X is on the maximal negative side. So okay, the first ring is a bit difficult to explain. Imagine I'm building the second ring. I'm gonna have offsets of X equal to -2 and Y equal to -2, for example, multiplied by the cell size, of course. But so the top left corner is gonna be X equal -2 and Y equal -2. Then it's gonna be X equal -1 and Y equal -2, and so on. So all along the north, I'm gonna have Y equal to -2. All along the west, I'm gonna have X equal to -2, and so on. So this is basically what these guys here are checking. And then I think those are the positive ones. So this checks whether x is equal to plus the maximum value. This is checking whether y is equal to plus the maximum value and so on. And then say x is equal to plus 2 in the second ring case, it's going to build an east blueprint, which is just, yeah, laser turrets along this side and an artillery down here. And similarly, if y is equal to plus 2 for the second ring, it's going to build the south one, and if x is equal to minus 2 for the second ring, it's going to build the west blueprint, and so on. So this is just basically ensuring I'm building the right, or the border in the right direction. And additionally, I have, yeah, just this standard landfill thing, which gets spammed everywhere. This is a bit annoying because I'm basically back to what I wanted to avoid. Oh, actually, now that I'm seeing it, I haven't updated this. I'm back to the old just spam blueprints everywhere simultaneously, as I was doing in the ring building thing before I introduced the spiral, which is a bit bad for UPS, but it's not too bad in this case because I'm not building all the rails and all that, so I think it's fine. And when I'm talking about UPS, I should probably mention that the moment I'm introducing BITERS and pollution, this is not going to be able to grow as large as the thing I showed initially, because it's just, even in the, say, I think 11 by 11 ring, so the 6th ring, I think, this was down to like 30 to 40 UPS, because, yeah, there's just a lot more going on than in the peaceful version, and you really notice this. So this is never gonna reach the same size as the peaceful version, because even if it managed against the BITERS, it's not gonna hold up. Or UPS is not gonna manage. The second thing is basically the same ring building thing as above, but one ring behind, which is deconstructing laser turrets and artillery. And for this is the very lazy approach once again, as is often the case with my designs. I'm leaving the power poles in, I'm leaving the requester chest here and these guys in. I just don't care, to be honest. And yeah, this is built in such a way that you can basically retrofit it into, or you can paste a new cell on top of this and it's gonna fit. Why is there landfill missing? What's going on there? It's just a tree, never mind. Yeah, so this has the advantage that you can basically start building this and deconstruct the laser turrets independently, but I'm not sure if this is going to stay like this or if this is actually the way to go, because I mean, it's a pretty weak defense, and especially say if this power pole here gets destroyed, I'm immediately going to have an unprotected area here, and I've seen this quite a bit. So I might have to change this and instead make a defense outside. I mean, I have some construction range to work with. I could just make a proper defense line here and then deconstruct this defense line once I've moved it one cell further out, and then so basically intrude on the building spaces here, build a defense line on this, something like here, and then deconstruct this defense line before actually starting to use the cells. That's probably going to be the cleaner solution that I might go for in the long run. But for now, it's working like this, and it does protect it. I haven't. I've run it twice, but I've made a few changes, and I think I'm gonna let it run now and see how it goes. I'll just have to do a little check if I've implemented all the necessary changes. 1 second. Okay, I think I'm good to go now. As I said, I haven't tested this extensively, so things might or will probably go wrong. But as always, I'm just gonna start it up and maybe see what's happening. Okay, so it's building the first cell here. As you can see, the first defense ring is already built. And yeah, maybe have an eye on the UPS here to get an idea of how bad it's getting. It's fine in the beginning, but it will start to get worse after a bit. And you can see artillery is clearing the outer ring. And yeah, some small revenge attacks are coming in, but I mean, evolution is basically at 0 now, so this is not going to be a problem. I haven't even checked how far the evolution got in the end, but I think I was at like 95%, something like this, before it broke. But yeah, there's one big issue, or I might just talk about this now actually. If you remember, I have this global construction network here, and I'm taking robots out of this now, for example, there's no robots in the global construction network, as long as this is happening. And then when the train comes back home, the robots are put back into the roboports, they build the next cell, and then they disappear again, and so on. So what that means for defense is I'm not constantly able to repair stuff. And that's turns out isn't the greatest thing in the world, actually. Maybe have a look at pollution, as long as it's not all just red. So in the current state, I basically have to hold the defenses as long as like the individual cell analysis is going on, and only then will robots go around and fix everything. So if I have, say, a large hole here, and then the next big attack comes in before robots have become active again, yeah, I'm dead basically. And this is what happened in the 2 runs that I had so far. But I mean, it did hold out for quite a bit. As I said, it took 95 or something like this evolution before it broke, and that means like it's almost only behemoth biters, and so fairly strong attack waves coming in. I don't mind a few turrets breaking, but yeah, as soon as there's a big enough gap for biters to just wander in, I don't have any defenses outside the first ring, and that's just, yeah, dooming. But I thought about what I could do without a lot of effort would be to leave 2 of these rings in. So say when I'm building the second defense ring, I'm not deconstructing this, but only when I'm building the third one, I would deconstruct this one, just to make sure that I've always got basically a backup thing. And if biters get in, they don't just eat the whole factory, but only maybe eat a bit of the outer ring. Something very odd that I've noticed, these text plates, I'm gonna maybe try this on a debug map. Well, it's all debug maps, I guess, but they seem to aggro biters. Wait, can I? Okay, I'm really curious about this, so I want to try this right now. Yeah, they do aggro biters. Because when I came back, like I did 2 overnight time lapses and came back to it, and basically nothing was eaten except for miners, a few, which makes sense because they're polluting, and radars, and all of these instructions. Actually, they in the last run, I'm gonna show this in a little bit, they left in a few letters as if they were trying to send me a message. I'm not sure if I haven't tried to decode it yet, but I'm gonna show it in a little bit. I just want to get this to see how the first new ring gets built and see if everything works out until then. You can see pollution is spreading fairly quickly, which makes sense because I'm mostly on a desert map here with only very little forest and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna spread a lot. And those guys are building the next thing. I don't have any attacks coming in to show the volatility of it yet, but I'm probably gonna get there. And what else is there to talk about? I could probably fast forward it, but it's not really worth it. Yeah, what I haven't done yet is change my production cell, so I'm still cheating here, as I'm always cheating, but I'm not yet producing laser turrets and artillery stuff, I don't think this should be too hard, especially like, I mean, I'm gonna have to give it a bit to start with, but once I'm at the like third or fourth ring, I'm gonna be easily able to produce as many turrets as I need. And also I'm not doing military science yet, so I'm afraid these Josef Mark II belts here have to go, and I'm gonna instead make military science to actually research laser turret damage and artillery range, which hopefully should allow me to survive a bit longer. I'm not sure how much bonus does this give? 70, no, that can't be right. 70%? Like each thing gives 70% damage increase? That's a lot. If that's true, then I'm pretty sure I could survive it actually. I thought it would be like 10% or something. Yeah, I'll have to do some checking on there, but if I can actually get 70% increase in laser damage every time I research one of these, I should handily be able to expand forever. I don't want to jinx it, but this is surprising to me. Yeah, you can see the pollution cloud has already spread to the nearest camps outside the artillery range, so we should be getting the first attacks soon. But I mean, this is this is no harm at all. Like, this one laser turret could probably handle this. And yeah, oh, there's one. But as I said, this is nothing to worry about. Okay, so we're almost there here. Now it's planned out the last of the cells, and once the train returns home, it's gonna build the new, or it's gonna blueprint the new laser defense. The reason I'm not doing this now is you have to be careful how many blueprints you place at the same time, or construction bots will take a lot of time to think about things, and that's gonna lead to problems in the way I'm analyzing cells. So there was, for example, one very weird instance where some guy who tried it didn't build all these text plates, but only like left the blueprints there, which makes sense because you can read blueprints just as well. And this led to the cell finding algorithm failing because construction bots took too long of a time before they started out, which was, yeah, this took some time to figure out. I think I'll turn off pollution. This is just red by now. I'm not gonna turn off pollution obviously, but the indicator. And you can see, well, you can barely see it's blueprinted the new thing. And there's one obvious issue here, not yet because there's no spitters at all, but bots will be attacked while building the new defense, and I don't think there's any way around this. I'll always be in a position where I have the old defense line and then a new defense line around it which isn't protected yet. I can't see any way around this. And you can see UPS is actually already dropping to around 60 from the 1200 that I had initially. But this is going to jump back up to like 300-400 once this is done. And yeah, the more landfill blueprints you place, the worse this gets. So in the next run, it's already going to be down to like 40 UPS, I think, for a short time, just because it has to place a lot of landfill. But you can see it's nicely building the new ring, and I think I'll let this run and ramble a bit more until the old thing is deconstructed, and then I hope you'll believe me that this is gonna work longer, and then I maybe show one of the two cases where it failed. Okay, I think I'll just skip this forward a little bit because this is just gonna be boring and slow. Maybe a quick comment on all these logistics bots. I'm not sure if I'm gonna handle it like this, but the way I'm doing it now is basically have buffer chests already in this initial blueprint here, and then like once, okay, this is still requesting stuff when the new cell is built, and I could probably dynamically request things like have the chest request laser turrets here, and then request rails and stuff here for the next actual cell that's being built. And then when I'm building an actual full cell. I'm just pasting over something that doesn't request anything. So, okay, this is a great example. This shouldn't be requesting anything. And I think this might have gone wrong. Oh no, okay, this is all going wrong. I'm not sure why. But okay, so there's some more testing to do. So the idea would be to just basically have materials on the outside and then paste over a buffer chest that doesn't request anything. So I only request materials on the outside. That's why all these logistics bots were in a frenzy here. Okay, you can see the construction bots are done, and it's starting to build the last cell in this ring, and it's already blueprinted the new one. And I think once this is finished building, the inner ring will be deconstructed. This is just, I wanted to be 100% sure that the old defense line was done before the new one was deconstructed, because otherwise you know that BITERS would come in the exact moment where like there's a hole in both of these or something like that. So yeah, that's the idea, and let's see how this goes, whether it works. There was some odd thing. Okay, it doesn't seem to be happening now, but when I started this again, some of these things weren't built because the train or the inserters that refill the builder train started before actually being finished. Or is it work? I think it's happening now as well, yeah. I'm not sure why. But the train's being loaded up even though the bots aren't done. Yeah, this is annoying. I didn't think this was gonna happen again. So you can see there's a few things missing here because the bots went idle, and I'm not really sure why this is happening. I'm gonna have to do some more investigating there. This must be something like I described before, that if there's too many blueprints around, then bots will take some time to think, and I don't really have safety measures for this. So if bots are idle for a few seconds, then my system is going to think that they're actually done, especially or basically only in this cell analysis case. But it looks like I'm going to have to make a few improvements there, because this has happened before and this shouldn't be happening. Okay, but this is not the topic of this thing. And yeah, I'm gonna try and change this when I'm done recording. But you can see it's deconstructed the inner defense line here, and it's finished building the outer one, and it's building the next cell, and it's gonna start the next ring. So from now on, it's only basically gonna grow and grow. Yeah, maybe a few words on this integrated defense thing here. It's pretty weak. And I'm not sure. Okay, as I said, I'm a bit surprised about how much the laser turret damage research increases the damage, so it might work with that, but I'm pretty sure it's still borderline. And the alternative would be to just use the extra construction range that I have to just build a proper defense line, say here, all around. I'd probably have to figure something out for the edges here or for the corners here, but yeah, just building a proper big defense here and then deconstructing this before actually using the cells. This would certainly work as well, but it's a lot easier like this, and I would prefer to keep it that way. So if the laser turret damage increase is enough to keep up, I'll leave it like that. One big issue, it's a bit hard to show right now, but as you might remember from, I think second to last episode, I don't know, something, currently there's no bots in this global network. So you can see here construction bots is equal to 0, and that's going to stay this way until this train returns home and this cell is done. So there's no bots that are able to repair the border. So basically it has to hold as long as it takes for one of these cells to be built. And then when the train comes home again, you can see bots are starting to come out again, building this cell, and now they would be repairing the border if there was anything to repair. But yeah, I'm not sure if this is the greatest thing in the world. I think the easiest way of circumventing this would be to leave a few construction bots in all of these cells, like just like 10, and have a little interface somewhere at the edge of the construction networks to just deliver a few laser turrets and like power poles and stuff in here, so that local construction bots can take care of repairing. But yeah, I haven't quite figured this out yet. Okay, I think the last thing, I'm already longer than I wanted to be, but I think the last thing I'm going to show is one of the failed attempts, and maybe I'll crop in a little bit of, or not crop, cut in a little bit of a time lapse to see when it went wrong. But yeah, I'll load up the save first. Alright, here we are. This is as far as it went. Actually, I'm not sure if it's properly stopped. Ah yeah, it should be properly stopped, because there's some biters in here. Where is it? There. Behemoth spitter. And yeah, there's one of these nice infinite loops. Bots trying to repair stuff and biters killing it again. And this is going to go on to until the end of time, I guess. And the problem with this is I'm never gonna be in a situation where I have 0 active construction bots, which means I'm never gonna be in a situation where, well, my expansion goes on, because this is waiting for all the construction bots to be idle until the train starts again. And you can see blinking, there's a trail of destruction, and yeah, this, also another problem that I figured is I'm not using artillery turrets until bots are idle as well, which is, yeah, it has some reasons which I'm actually not sure about anymore. I think this was more of a cosmetic thing, because I wanted to have all the artillery turrets firing at the same time, which is probably dumb, and I should revert it. So yeah, I'll just do it like this. Hey, why is this being wired automatically? Ah, this is why. Dumbest workaround of all times. Just want to have this firing. I don't even know why I wanted to have this firing, but yeah, it's a personal choice. Okay, so the way this failed was, as I said, there was a pretty large gap eaten into this defense in a time where no construction bots were available to fix it, and then, well, it broke and no one came to fix it, so bots just wandered right in. And I'm guessing it happened here, and they went, well, actually there was more than one group, I'm not sure, but they went around killing stuff, especially like miners, and then went straight here and ate all the text plates. And I'm absolutely puzzled as to why text plates would be aggroing biters. But yeah, I wanted to try and read the code that they left for me. Wait, 1 second. I'll see if I can figure something out here. Okay, if anyone knows what this means in biter language, please tell me. I don't speak biter, unfortunately, but I'm assuming it's something like a threat, or I don't know, maybe congratulating me on my nice factory, I don't know. But anyway, this is how far it came, and I think I'll try, or I'll restart this once I'm actually producing military science, and I'll try to, or hopefully I'll be able to keep up with the expanding threat by just, well, expanding laser damage. This, I'm not sure, but this might work. Yeah, this is very annoying. Another thing I might want to add is just like sprinkle a few laser turrets every here and there, just to deal with if something eventually breaks through, like just having a laser turret here in every corner. And this should lead, hopefully, should aggro or should attract biters and yeah, deal with them. I could alternatively, of course, just leave the second, or leave all of the defensive rows in I'm not sure how bad this would be for the resources needed. I don't think it would be too bad actually. I mean, this is 900 laser turrets here, which should be very easy to produce in the time needed. So I might actually just leave in all the defensive rows. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, I've rambled enough, I think. I might attach a time lapse to this. I'm not sure. I don't have the perfect time lapse yet, and there's still a lot of work to do. So I might just leave it at that. But I'll hopefully get to implementing the new production stuff and all of that, and then I think I'm hopefully close to finishing this up. I think there's maybe gonna be one more tutorial episode, and then maybe a proper like standalone showcase of the finished thing. But yeah, that's gonna take a few more weeks, I guess. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting again. Me just rambling incoherently for 40 minutes. And yeah, thanks for watching. Maybe see you next time. I'm just cutting back in because I forgot to mention one crucial thing that's really problematic in how I'm doing things. And that's, again, with the global robots. If I'm at a stage where I constantly have to do repairs, then the factory is basically going to grind to a halt, because there's never going to be a time where there's 0 active construction bots. This can easily happen, like if I have attacks coming in from all sides constantly, and my turrets aren't able to get rid of them right away. There's always going to be a few bots dispatched to repair stuff, which in turn means that there's never going to be a time where the train can start again. And I think I've had quite a few like periods where the thing stalled because it was waiting for a short time period where no construction bots were active. I can probably make this a lot more improbable by, for example, having laser turrets stored on the outside, which I'm not doing currently. So all the laser turrets and all the repair packs are coming from the center, which means bots will take a long time to fly out there. But yeah, this is a problem that I'm gonna need to address. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to add this because it's kind of an important problem with my current setup.